Okay, we're going to get right into it because uh, we got to cook for about 45 minutes. So, for this first thing. So, I want to get these done. Gotta say, I really didn't pay that much attention to the food in Star Wars, but I am. I did look everything up. They did have carrots, so we're going to use carrots today. They did have potatoes. They so we will be using those. Um, One of the things that we we were trying to think of what kind of protein we could use, and what we came up with is a porg is a small bird, and so we are going to use that. We're going to make some Cornish hens and call them porgs. So, yes, I could have pretended that it was porgs, but that's not me. I'm not really that kind of. I haven't gotten to that kind of cosplay yet, if you will. So I'm just going to toss all these in here because I am going to toss them in some oil and some seasoning so they taste yummy. And I'm cutting them into bite-sized bits so they cook, because sometimes these small carrots in particular don't cook really well. So it helps to chop them down into bite-sized pieces. So has anybody done anything for Star Wars Day? Are you excited about it? Are you Star Wars people? Maybe you're not. So then you can just hang around for Cornish hens if you want. Not something I cook very often, to be honest. It's been years, actually, since I've made a Cornish hen. But we're making them today. And I'm just making two because we had the choice of making 2 or 4. And everybody felt like they wouldn't eat more than 1 anyway. So the 3 of us are gonna share 2. Is the way it's gonna go here. So, and hang on a second. I can't see this. Can't see the chat. So I'm gonna minimize. No, I forget it's not a touch screen all the time. So I'll minimize that. Maximize the chat. So if you're here, please say hi or throw me an emoji or something like that so I know people are watching. Always makes it a little bit easier, especially on a day like today when I'm not feeling my level best. So just kind of trudging through it at this point. But that's what we do some days, right? And that's what we learned from that movie. You just keep going because you got to. Got to face the evil. Now, I would say don't do that to your own physical health detriment, and that's what I'm trying to do. I've taken it pretty easy otherwise for the day. Just trying to do what I can. Ooh, that was a tough one. I think I'm going to cut that one into thirds. That was just really a big time carrot. So anyway, I would imagine I'm not the only one making Star Wars food today, but I thought this was kind of fun. We're going to do this, and I found a recipe for Ray's instant bread, and I also have a recipe for blue milk. Now, when it comes to the blue milk, wow, are there a lot of recipes. And most of them, honestly, have coconut oil in them. So I am making Star Wars food today. We're roasting up some vegetables, which I looked up, and they have carrots and potatoes in Star Wars. And then they have a small bird called a porg. We're going to make a small bird. And then we're also going to make Ray's her instant bread. Ooh, that's an ugly looking carrot. Into the garbage it goes. We're going to make some blue milk. And I was just saying there's all kinds of blue milk recipes out there. Mostly have coconut milk in them, and we do not have coconut lovers in this house, so we are going to stay away from the coconut milk. We'll just use regular milk. And if we want more than the 1 serving I'm going to make, I will probably use some almond milk for my husband because he doesn't do real well with dairy. So everybody's got their thing. But I'm getting these carrots all chopped up and ready to go. We're gonna pop those and the potatoes in. And if you are a Star Wars fan, which movie is your favorite? I would love to know that. Now, my kids have all watched all 9 of the movies multiple times. Couldn't tell you what their favorites are, to be honest. I'm old school. I mean, I was around years before they even did the second set of movies. So I got to say, when I saw them for the first time, I hated The Empire Strikes Back. I was like, "What? What? That's the ending you're gonna leave us with?" I was not happy. So, needless to say, that one's not my favorite, but it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. And I found out later they actually had a hi Israel. We're making Star Wars food today, so we're gonna make what we're calling roast porg. And right now I'm chopping up some carrots, and we're gonna put those in there. And we're talking Star Wars today. Like I said, I'm an OG man. I like the OG series. I know they're camp. I know they're silly, but I love them. And if I have to pick a favorite, it would be Return of the Jedi, because, like I said, Empire Strikes Back is probably a better movie as a film. I took mass communications in school, so as a film, The Empire Strikes Back is hands down the best of those 3 movies. But I just like The Empire Strikes Back because I like a happy ending. So that's the only reason why. And the other ones were a bit dark for me, to be honest. So I didn't love them. And I honestly think that, why can't I think of Hayden's last name? But anyway, Anakin, the guy who is Anakin, as a young man, the casting didn't feel right to me. I don't know how anybody else feels. If you are a Star Wars guy, or Star Wars girl, or woman, or man, or however you want to put it. But I did watch them. I liked them. We've watched them several times. My kids have watched them so many times. The only ones that I think they've watched more than they did Star Wars back in the day was they watched an awful lot Lord of the Rings. And my middle son still does it every year. He watches the Lord of the Rings trilogy the day after Thanksgiving, and it's so funny. He didn't tell anybody for a long time that he did that, but when he started telling people, he was shocked at how many people were so excited about that. Now he has friends over every year, and they watch it every year. So I have another friend who does that as well. I'm just tossing in, let the ancestors tell you how much, is the way we put it. Garlic, onions, and I'm going to put a little bit of smoked paprika on my carrots. Not much, just a little. And then we're going to spread those out on a baking sheet. And then I'm going to peel some potatoes real quick, because in the Star Wars lore, you had to peel your potatoes. I wouldn't normally, especially with these, but we'll be a little bit true to the movies. Why not, right? So anyway, and do we have a favorite character? Do we have a hated character? I think we all know who probably the most hated character was. Poor guy. And I say poor guy because they weren't someone who was evil. The most hated character in Star Wars from everyone I've talked to is Jar Jar Binks. And I just think he's so annoying that he drove everybody crazy. Anyway, is what it is. But anyway, and honestly, it's funny. Out of the trilogies, that the like I said, the Return of the Jedi uh, is my favorite. But of all the Star Wars movies, and not just the ones in the trilogy, my favorite is Rogue One. And I know what's going to happen. I knew it was going to happen from the very beginning. And I think that was the part that made it so good, is that you knew it was going to happen. They made you like those characters anyway. You still ended up being someone who rooted for the characters, even though you knew. However, the craziest thing was, and I have to say, give them credit, because the one thing they've done in the Star Wars universe is they have given the droids so much personality. I think that's great. It's one of my favorite things about that series. The humans are actually less interesting sometimes than the droids. They're so great. And to find out that Alan Tudyk was Ben, I was like, well, that makes sense, right? If you're not familiar with him. So, hi, Rookie, how are you? At least I think that's how you say it. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But we're making some Star Wars food today. And yes, they had potatoes. And the reason I'm peeling them is because in Star Wars lore, you had to peel your potatoes to eat from them to eat them. So we've already got some carrots going. And then we're going to pop together some birds that we're going to call porgs, little birds to pop in the oven. And then we'll roast those guys up real quick. And while we're doing that, we're going to make some Ray's instant bread. And then we're going to make some, that's not the name of it, and it escapes me right now, and I'm so mad at myself for that. Blue milk, and that will be our dinner, which, from the way it sounded during the times of the Empire, that might be like a feast. So anyway, but I'm asking if people have a favorite character or at least favorite character, if you're a Star Wars person. If you've ever been to Disney World, do you love the rides? Do you hate them? I thought they were pretty cool. The ones that I've been on, it's been a while. It's been years actually since I've been on a Star Wars ride. But they were fun. And the stormtroopers and all that. And my niece's son got to be on stage when they went to the show. The show didn't exist when my kids were little. When my kids were little, the coolest thing any of my kids got to do with that kind of thing was my youngest. We went to Universal, and he got picked, and he looked so much like, without the glasses, he kind of looked like he could have been like about Harry Potter's age, had a similar haircut. So he got to be the kid. They kind of replay the wand scene. And just so you know, this is what happens when you're live. Those are my dogs. They like to make a ruckus. So I'm guessing that was probably our male person I didn't see. But so we're peeling our taters, because that's what you have to do, Star Wars, to have them be edible. So they are peeled. And we will chop them up very quickly into bite-sized pieces so that they're not big old chunks of nothingness that we can't bite into. One of the things that I was looking at all the different recipes, there is actually a root vegetable stew that they make. So that might be a fun one to try at some point. But this one kind of hit me for today. Like I said, we're just going to make these bite-sized pieces so that they can cook up easily. So, and if anybody wants to tell me where they're watching from, I'd love to know that. I am a person who I live in a, if you're not from the United States, I live in what I would call a small city. Um, Not teeny tiny, but the city limits, there's about 300,000 people. Our greater metro area is over 1 million. So we're not tiny, but we're not huge either. So, and we have a lot of people who come here internationally, usually we have one of the top 3 children's hospitals in the country, and we also have a really good medical teaching hospital. And then we are also the home of Procter & Gamble. So we get a lot of international people from those areas. And I always love to find out how they got here. So, and I have yet to hear a more interesting story than some folks I met when my kids were in elementary school. And they were trafficked here. So that was when I found out that trafficking is everywhere. And I now know what to look for when I go to a restaurant to make sure that I am not supporting restaurants who traffic human beings, because that's how they were brought here. It was awful for them, and fortunately, we had a really great principal at our school. She helped them get out of it, and they were so scared. I felt so bad for them. Thought they were going to be deported, but they were here legally. And that was the weird part about them being trafficked, is often you think that people who are trafficked are here illegally. They were not. What happened with them was somebody brought them here, put them to work in an ethnic restaurant, and I'm not going to say which one. And then they took their passports away, so they couldn't move around. And didn't pay them, and so they had no money, they had no clothes, but except what was on their backs. And ironically, what ended up saving them was that, because their kids were going to school without coats. And when the principal called them in to ask them if they needed help with the coats, they decided to tell her what was going on. They took a big chance because their lives had been threatened, and their children's lives had been threatened, and they were threatened again after that. And they got out with the help of the principal and some really good people at DHS. So, but this was also 20 years ago, so I don't know how they would be treated now. But they're still here. They're doing very well. Their kids are doing really well. And so that was a happy ending to that story. And pretty much, unless you are part native in this country, we've all been immigrants at some time. Our family's been immigrants at some point. Now, I have some that were here before the revolution. I have some that have been in Ohio, where I live, since before the Civil War. He was a farmer, and he fought in the Civil War. So I'm going to put that over here so I don't make a mess, which I've been known to do on occasion. All right, same thing for this. We're going to do a little bit of garlic. I'm going to do a little bit of onion powder. I'm going to do a little bit of paprika. And we'll stir those puppies up. Get everything coated with all that yumminess. And then I think I'm just going to go. I'm hoping I can get this all flat on here. So I know that's kind of off camera for you guys. All right. That's pretty flat, pretty pretty much in a single layer. And I'll show you when we're done, because okay. Fraternizing. I got carrots in the potatoes, potatoes in the carrots. All right, now these guys. This is my trash bowl, and I do believe there's some. I want to make sure there's nothing in here I need to trash other than the plastic. So we're gonna open up these bags. Oh yeah, there's a lot of juice in there. Now, since we're going to cook it for a good long time, I'm going to let that juice in this bowl. All right. Come on now. Goodness me. All right. So somebody say something. Somebody say hi. Somebody say, that doesn't look good, or that looks good, or something. I feel so lonely right now. Oh, goodness. So, all right. We will get this in the oven. Should be about 2 or 3 minutes at this point. Yes, I should be putting that away from me, not towards me. After years of cooking, you get a little lazy doing stuff like this. So, hi, Norma. Welcome in. Norma and Willow, whichever you happen to be. We are making some Star Wars food today. That's what we're calling it. But it's essentially, it's roast Cornish hen, which for Star Wars fans, we would call that porg, which is a small bird. And then I've got some carrots and some onions, or carrots and potatoes that I have cut up. And as soon as I get these daggone birds out of this plastic, goodness. Oh, thanks, Norma. I appreciate that. So, there we go. Goodness gracious. And I took these guys out of the freezer on Saturday, and there's still a little bit of ice. We're going to take that off the bird, and we're going to hope that doesn't mess things up for cooking. Okay, so I am going to take, I need that bowl back. All right, I'm going to grab some oil. We're going to oil these puppies up, and then we're going to pop them in the oven, and then we're going to make the bread and the milk to go with it. All right, so I'm going to put on my other glove. I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of touching raw meat. But so I'm going to get these gloves on so I can do my work that way. And then I will take it off to season it. But I'm going to put that on a little raised trivet on my pan here. Let the juices just kind of drip down in. So I'm going to take these guys and got to finish up removing the feathers first. There we go. All right. And we're going to oil that up. Rub that all around. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. This one's actually a little bigger. I also got a few feathers to pull out right there. When I cook here, I always keep a... Ooh, nice. Homemade vanilla cake and a chocolate cake. Nice. We're going to make a cake later this week that I've got a lot of recipes this week that I've never made before, which is always a always makes things interesting, right? When you make things you've never made before. So I'm going to grab this last little bit, put that oil all over it. And then we're going to put them breast side up. I'm going to tuck the wings underneath so they don't burn. Maybe. I'm not sure I can do this on such a small bird, but we're going to try. All right, those are tucked under. I don't know if you've ever learned that. My husband does that with his turkey wings when he makes the turkeys in this house. I make the chickens, he makes the turkey, especially on Thanksgiving. He's been doing it for years. They're trying to escape. I'll see if I can sneak them under one of these things. And then I'm going to take off one glove so I can flip these guys. And then we're just going to season them. Actually, I'll just season the one side with a little onion powder, a little garlic powder. And just a little paprika, smoked paprika in this case. All right. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that juice, pour it in there because we're going to cook it good and long. Throw that in the sink. That in the garbage. And I'm going to put all of this stuff in the sink that was around the kitchen, or around the chicken. All right. I'm going to wipe this out. I don't have a Clorox wipe, but I will do that after I'm done with string. So move this out of the way. We're going to pop this guy in the oven. So I'm not sponsored by Crisco, just using it. Sometimes you feel like you need to say that because people wonder if you are or not. So there we go. Before she goes in, we got the two birds, which we're calling porgs today. We've got the potatoes and we've got the carrots, both of which are in Star Wars lore. So we're gonna go about, you know what? I think we need to be at 425. Actually, I think we're going to go to 445. And we're going to go for 20 minutes on air roast. And then we're going to flip it around because mine cooks more in the back. So I want to get everything all turned around the way it needs to be. So next up, I may try two versions of this, but we're going to make the version I found online of Ray's instant bread, and we'll see how we do. So the first thing you're supposed to do is you pour a little oil in. Thanks. I appreciate that, Norma. Oh goodness, I was saying that I'm an old school Star Wars person. I like the original series the best. I'm gonna sit down for this for a little bit. I've been having a little tummy trouble today, so I am gonna sit down and kind of rest a little bit while we grease these up. And I'm gonna try, like I said, two different versions of it. I need tablespoons and half teaspoon. Let's see. I need a tablespoon. I need half tablespoon. I need a half teaspoon. I need a quarter teaspoon. Okay. I need practically all of them today. This is the days you're happy to have a dishwasher, you know? All right. So Oddly enough, this says to go ahead and put your dry, even though you've greased your thing, you're supposed to put your dry ingredients in. So, hey, IT guy, I'm going to need some milk. So we go 4 tablespoons. And I'm using bread flour. They call for cake flour, but being gluten-free from the 513, we're going to use bread flour because I can't find, sorry, I'm trying to count at the same time. I haven't found gluten-free cake flour yet. So I know you can make it. And I think it's just adding like baking powder or something to it. I can't remember. So we've got 4 tablespoons of that. And then we need a tablespoon and a half of sugar. Where'd my sugar go? There it is. So there's a tablespoon. One, and then we'll do one over here. Seems like a lot of sugar, doesn't it, for one little thing of cake? But we'll go ahead and we'll follow the directions the first time and then we adjust after. But 1/2. You know what? I'm going to only put 1 in that one just because. Then matcha powder. This says use a 1/2 teaspoon. So we will abide by that. I need to cut this. I keep things close. So this cooks in like 45 seconds. So I will be very interested to see how this does. I mean, it's a so apparently this is how they got the green flavor in the movie, was using matcha powder. So I'm going to use some matcha powder. Not a big fan of matcha powder, so I'm not going to put it in the other one. I can smell that earthiness already. Okay, so matcha. Then I need a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Teaspoon of baking powder. And then you mix up the dry. So I'm gonna mix this side up first so it doesn't get the matcha flavor in it. Just cause we want to. So, all right. Oh, there it is. It's getting all that green, like working through the flour, if you will. So, all right. That's mixed up. So then we're gonna do I'm gonna grab out a little something here. Just in case I'm not doing well. This is pretty full, this milk. So I need 2 tablespoons of milk. IT guy, I'm gonna need you to throw this in the microwave for me, please. 2 tablespoons of milk and a 1/2 teaspoon of oil. That's a 1/2 tablespoon. We don't want that. We want a 1/2 teaspoon. That would have made for some oily bread, wouldn't it? All right. Okay. So I'm going to grab a little fork here, I think. We're going to mix it up. Ooh, okay. I'll bet I've heard that it takes a while to heal after the gallbladder surgery. Well, I'm a couple years ahead of you, Norma. I'm 63. I just turned 63. And fortunately, the only major surgery I've ever had was an emergency C-section. And I got IT guy out of that one. So, but that's the only major one. Well, I shouldn't. I've had my tonsils out. I've had my wisdom teeth out. So I have had other surgeries. And I had a plate and 7 screws put in my ankle back in the day that also had to be removed. Soccer did me in. Years of organized sports. All right, 45 seconds that's supposed to take. So we'll see what happens. I know it's awful looking because it's green. So, I'm sorry, he reminded me. I didn't show you guys. Not the prettiest thing I've ever seen, but let's see what happens when we put it in there. So, I'm going to get a fresh fork for the other one. So, yeah, I feel lazy when I sit and cook sometimes. So, but you know, sometimes you have to. I'm going to do the 2 tablespoons of milk for this one. And then a half teaspoon of oil. And that's why I got that out, because I went a little over. So, although with gluten-free flour, it's probably not a big deal. Because the thing about gluten-free flour is you're supposed, what really makes it work most of the time is if you let it sit. So otherwise it can be kind of grainy. So you want them? Here. IT guy doesn't like to be on camera, so they don't make him be on camera. Matter of fact, without the matcha in here, this is really, really, like, it's just a lump. I want to put a little more milk in there. See if we can get that a little bit of oomph. So, how'd we do? Okay, you want to hand it to me? Okay, it doesn't look exactly like the bread, but there it is cooked. We're going to give it a minute and then spongy. But like I said, this has a totally different consistency, which is really interesting. So I'm going to stir this up, see if having that extra moisture does anything to it. I think I put the baking powder in there. Oh well, we're going to find out if it doesn't rise. Oh goodness, that's what I get for doing 2 of them, right? And we're going to cover that because we don't want to make any messes with oil. And then I'm going to have IT guy put that one in for 45 seconds. Okay, and then, okay, that's that for a couple of seconds. Supposedly, you can pop it out with a knife and eat it. So we'll see. Run our knife around it, see if it comes out. Here it comes. Oh, it came out. Ha! Hot. I may not have waited long enough. Okay. Got a little bit of that flour on the bottom. All right, I'm going to try it just by itself. Okay, anybody else love warm bread? One of the things I miss about being gluten-free is eating warm bread. Mm. It's not overly matcha flavored, thank goodness. But I do think it would be helped with a little bit of butter. So we're going to do that. Did it rise? Oh, yeah, it did. Okay, so I did have the stuff in there. It might need a little more. I'm just going to put a little bit of butter on there. See if that helps. Now, would Ray have had butter? Probably not. There's a lot of things they didn't have. So, but okay. It's a lot better with the butter. You want to try it without the butter? No? You want to try it with? It's not terrible. Of course, I didn't think the last one was terrible, so, and you did, so I made something similar, but with almond flour. He didn't like it at all. It's really sweet. That is the one thing about this. It's really sweet. So I'll be interested when I try the other one if it's okay. Verdict from IT guy was he tried a little tiny piece of this. He said this is better. This he gave a thumbs down to. Again, we're not a matcha family. If you like matcha, you're probably going to love that. But we're not big on matcha, so that that could be part of the problem for him. So let's see what this one did. Especially since we added, like I said, a little bit more of the milk in there, which honestly is making it stick probably a little bit more, but that's okay. We got most of it to come out. There we go. It was a little broken. Ooh, that's hot. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take a little piece off here and try it without the butter. But when it comes to bread, I mean, butter's just better. But okay, I have to say I like this without the matcha better, but I don't mind the matcha. I really don't. I think that extra half a tablespoon um, of sugar made a difference, and I think had this had the extra little bit of sugar in it, it really would have been good. So, okay, IT guy just got out I had some frosting in the refrigerator, so he's gonna try it with some frosting, I guess. You want to try it? That was a definite no. Mm. And yeah, actually, I need to make a proper mug and a cup one of these days. Um, and see how it does. So, also with chocolate, because chocolate is better. So, I'm going to eat one more little piece of this. That was a little bit of butter on it. And then we're going to make the blue milk. So, I like it. It's okay. It actually has some sponginess to it though, because it's just basically a quick bread. So it's not not a hockey puck, which is nice. So I'm gonna put my butter back, get it out of the way, and now we're gonna work on this milk. So the milk is for one. Oh, this is the wrong size. Would you give me the 2-cup measuring cup, please? Yes. I thought it was in here. I may have already used it, but I need to. If it's the 4 is the only thing that's in there, that's fine. I have a 1, a 2, and a 4. So we are done with our bread flour. So we're going to put that away. It's funny doing these videos. I became very aware that I have trained myself to kind of clean as I go. So it's really interesting. Oh, here it is, right here. I did have it here. All right, so blue milk. Again, I found so many recipes for this. Most of them had coconut milk or rice milk. I don't have either one of those. Coconut milk we don't keep in the house because I'm the only one who would even dare to drink that. My husband might in a smoothie, but that would be about it. So, all right. So we've got our milk. This actually says to add a tablespoon of sugar to it. So I think we're going to go with the half tablespoon because I don't need that kind of sugar. I don't know about you guys. If it was left to my own devices, it would be stevia anyway, but my family doesn't. Whoa, guess we're going to be closer to the tablespoon anyway. Oh well. That one cracked up the IT guy, so there you go. All right. We got the sugar in. Can I have the elf gloves, please? I need to I need to flip the birds. Sorry. I thought that was funny. He didn't think I was funny. I don't know if you guys did, but I thought it was funny. All right. I'll flip those around because, yes, the stuff in the back is getting more cooked than the stuff in the front. I'm going to put that on for another, probably. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Oh, man. Let's try 20 and see what happens. Okay. Put it on for the wrong temp and a shorter time. Oh, well, we do what we do. All right. So where were we? We have our milk. We have our sugar. Calls for half a teaspoon of vanilla. I used oil in that. I'm not using it again. So, yeah, we're going to eyeball it. I love when you do that. Kind of looks like a potion. It kind of moves around. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like burbling almost. All right. And then we've got a little blue food gel. Now, you can freeze this or make a smoothie out of it. This, by the way, is Watkins food coloring. So sometimes you need a little bit more of it to get the color that you want because that's not very blue. So use about twice as much as you normally would, but they're natural. So a little bluer. I'm going to do a couple more. You'll see it anywhere from this light blue to like a neon blue. And when we went to Disney's Animal Kingdom, they had some Avatar food, and it was like bright blue, bright yellow, bright purple, all of that. So, okay. IT guy wants a taste of this, so he's giving me a little. Actually, I'm going to take a sip first. So there's our blue milk. Look at that. Oh, that's not bad. That actually tastes like. Okay, I'm going to have him taste it first. See what he thinks. I don't want to color what he's going to say or how he's going to think about it. So he's like, look, smelling it like a fine wine, you know? So it tastes a little bit to me like almost like melted ice cream. If that, would you agree with that? It's really good, actually. This is the thing I was worried the most about making was, was this. But what is interesting is that a lot of what I found in the Star Wars world really was, sweet, and I didn't want to get a whole lot of it back. So, all right, he wants to eat cereal now. So he would use it as cereal milk. Is that what you're saying? Oh, it tastes like cereal milk. That's what it tasted like to him. It tastes like melted ice cream to me. Tasted like cereal milk to him. He eats a lot of like Frosted Flakes. So he said it tastes like the milk that's left after the Frosted Flakes. Um, so that would be his. But all right, now tell me, if you made this bread, and like I said, this is a little bit sweet. That's a little bit sweeter because we did the tablespoon and a half. I would love to know, what would you put on something like this? I mean, like I said, it's squishy, but it's sweet. So you could maybe do I don't know, cinnamon drizzle, if that sounds good to you. You could really put a streusel on there, to be honest. So here, give it here. We'll try that. All right. I'm going to use a little bit of butter, a little more butter, so I'll get that back out. He suggested cinnamon sugar, so I'm going to take a piece off of there because I don't want to eat the whole thing. And we're going to put some butter on it, just like toast. I'm not going to toast it, but just like I was having some toast. And I'm telling you, that was so easy. And you can make it with regular flour. It doesn't have to be gluten-free flour. You can do the four tablespoons of either regular or cake flour, I would say. I think the cake flour is probably going to make it a little lighter and a little more, even more fluffy than it already is. And then I always have cinnamon sugar. It's a thing. Partially because my husband is a type 1 diabetic. And one of the things that helps him is toast. So if he puts the cinnamon on it, cinnamon helps with regulating your blood sugar and keeping your blood sugar steady. So once we get it back up, that cinnamon helps to keep it steady. So let's see. And we're heavy on the cinnamon with the cinnamon sugar. Okay. That's the best right there. So if you were to make this and you've got a little cinnamon to add, you could add this in the batter, although cinnamon does tend to inhibit rise. So you might want to wait till after. Just do you could do a melted butter, like wash on it when you were done, and then cover it with cinnamon sugar. That would really be a fun thing to give to your kids and they could eat it out of the bowl. You could take it out of the bowl and make it, something fun. That'd be a really good snack. Super easy. Kind of like a cake in a mug kind of thing. But it's lighter than a cake in a mug, to be honest. Where those are kind of rich and dense, this has a lighter, spongier texture to it. So, which honestly I think is amazing and delicious. So, got our bread. We've got our blue milk. Our porgs are busy cooking and should be done in a little bit. I'm going to move this over here. And while we're waiting on that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the rest of the week because tomorrow is Taco Tuesday and Cinco de Mayo. Can you believe that? That is so cool. And we are going to go, because Americans like to celebrate everything, even more than sometimes the country of origin. We're going to go, I'm calling it the All-American Mexican Fest because we're going to do some Taco Bell dupes tomorrow. I am going to make, for the first time in my life, just like I did this today, turned out okay, we're going to make gluten-free flour tortillas. Finding nice tortillas and nice flatbreads are really hard with gluten-free. There are some who like what's called there's a brand called Be Free. I've had their wraps, not my favorite. So I'm going to try, I saw a lot of abuelas are saying just make them yourself. It's easier. Even gluten-free, they said it's easier to make it yourself. So tomorrow we're going to give that a shot. We're going to be making some of those. We're going to make Mexican pizza. We're going to make, we're kind of going off menu here. We're going to make the Mexican pizza. We're going to make Mexi Melts. We're going to make Crunch Wrap. And my son wants me to make the bigger version where you put it on like a cooking sheet. And I'll probably use one of our smaller, we use the oven here. I'll use one of those instead of the big jelly roll pans because that's a lot of Crunch Wrap. So we're going to make Crunch Wraps. And I'm really looking forward to this because I haven't had Taco Bell since I went gluten-free because the cross-contamination, you just can't get away from it. And so, especially at a place like that. So there are very few fast food restaurants that I feel very comfortable eating at. And the more I'm away from gluten, the more sensitive I become. I can still eat French fries from a few places, but even this year I got sick during Lent. I forgot that they would be frying so much more fish the with the French fries because I'm not celiac. I'm non-gluten. I'm non-celiac, gluten sensitive. So that's a whole different thing than being celiac. Celiac is so much. It's not good for either of us to eat, but they tend to get a lot sicker than I do. Although the last couple times I've eaten it, I've gotten pretty sick. So anyway, it just reminded me I have a medication for that, and I've had a little stomach trouble today, so I don't know if I actually ate some gluten or what. So anyway, what was I talking about? Tomorrow, yeah, Crunch Wraps. We're going to do Crunch Wraps. We're going to do Mexi Melts. We're going to do Mexican pizza. And we'll see how we do because I can't use Taco Bell seasoning anymore. The number one ingredient in Taco Bell seasoning is wheat. So another reason I can't eat there because they're literally the flavoring on their meat is full of wheat. So I might be able to eat the beans. Actually, what most people get, I think, is nachos. And so it's just not worth it. It's not worth it to go certain places for the cross contamination. One place you can almost always trust, and I had this happen to me because I went to the ballpark and I couldn't find anything to eat. Even the things that were listed as gluten-free, they either didn't have them or they hadn't gotten them in yet, or people didn't know they had them and told me they didn't have them. And the one place I finally went was Chick-fil-A. I said, do you have a dedicated fryer? And she said, yes, ma'am, we do. I said, so you're not cooking your chicken and your fries together? And she's like, absolutely not. We do not do that. And so that was the only thing I could eat at the ballpark that was safe. Other than one bag of a local brand's potato chips, but they were barbecue and they're spicy barbecue, and I don't like spicy. So I had myself a little bit of that, and that was about it. But it's just something when you've got these situations that you have to deal with. So, and it's not anaphylaxis for me. So I have allergies that can cause me to become anaphylactic. So I try to be very careful about that. And honestly, if you don't have them and somebody says they are allergic, don't test it out, please. I know somebody that their mother-in-law did that to them. And I don't understand that because I always said I hit the mother-in-law lottery. My mother-in-law passed a few years ago, but she was one of my favorite human beings on the planet. She was so good to me. She was so kind. And we joked about it because she cooked for me for a year. And this was before I was gluten-free. And she was actually delighted when she finally found something I didn't like that she cooked. Because she has very picky kids. My husband is not one of, well, he's picky in a different way, but he wasn't picky with her food. She had a couple that would eat anything. She had a couple that didn't eat anything. I was like, how do you have picky kids when you've got this many kids? And she's like, they knew they could eat like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but I wasn't cooking a second dinner. Um, but I don't like salmon. I've tried it every way you can make it, basically. I've had it fresh caught. My uncle used to fish. We were in Seattle and he fished, and I got fish that was hours out of the water. Um, didn't like it. He had a smoker, and I had fresh smoked salmon. Didn't like it. I've had lox. Don't like them. I've had it teriyaki. I've had it in sushi. I've had it, like I said, just about every way you can think. I've had it in a spread. I've had it so many different ways, and I wish I liked salmon. I do. Now I like tuna, not tuna in a can, but I love a good piece of tuna, especially like ahi is my favorite, and so those are nice fatty fish that I can eat. But not a fan of salmon. And my mother-in-law made salmon patties one time, and I said, I hope you won't be offended if I don't eat them. And she said, why is that? And I said, I don't like salmon at all. And this was canned salmon because the patties were made with canned salmon. And she even said to my father-in-law was still alive at the time too. And she said, hey, Butch, we found something she doesn't like. And she not only made that, but she made one of the other things I didn't like at the time. I've since learned to make it in a way that I like it. But she served sweet potatoes, and they were just fried up and from a can, and oh, not good. So hi, Barbara. um, we're just talking about some things. I'm kind of killing time here. I've got about 4 minutes left, but we're talking about what we're going to make the rest of the week because we got our Star Wars food. We made Ray's instant bread. I made this has got matcha in it to make it that lovely green color like she had. I made one without the matcha. We like the one without the matcha better. We've made some blue milk, which IT guy, who's also my son, who helps me with my lives. He's my moderator. Um, that that he said tastes like cereal milk after he's eaten Frosted Flakes. So it's pretty good. I was surprised. Tastes like melted ice cream to me. I was really this, like I said, this is the thing I was the most worried about trying because it just sounded so sweet. So anyway, but tomorrow is Taco Tuesday. Then Wednesday is National Crepe Suzette Day, and I have never had crepe Suzette. I've never made crepes, so we're gonna make some crepes, which will be fun. What I found out, I'm gonna grab this here. Um, there's a lot of orange in crepe Suzette, and we are gonna fire up some Grand Marnier. We're gonna set it ablaze on Wednesdays. We'll make some savory crepes as well, but yeah, you'll want to come around and watch us set these crepe Suzette on fire. It's there was a thing, I guess, in the what would have been 60s and 70s, where there was a lot of lighting of the desserts on fire because you have bananas Foster, you have crepe Suzette, you've got baked Alaska, you've got there's a cherry flambe thing that you do as well. So there's a lot of flambeing going on in our desserts at one point. So anyway, so that's Wednesday. Thursday's our day off, but we will be putting up a review of, if you're familiar, if you're anywhere in the Midwest to some of the Mid-Atlantic states, there is a restaurant called BB Bop, and it is a totally gluten-free kitchen. Uh, it's different kinds of bowls, and it's so good. There's unlimited combinations practically because there's so many different, like you can have brown rice, uh, you can have a salad, you can have rice and beans, you have different kinds of beans, then there's all kinds of toppings. You've got 5 or 6 different proteins, everything from tofu to a bulgogi. So good. Um, if you eat at the restaurant, you can, well, and if you take out even, you can get a free container of miso soup, which is really, really good. And even their cookies are gluten free and they are delicious. They're so good. They're like eating a bakery cookie, which is, for somebody who's gluten free, that's a wonderful thing. And my husband is a snickerdoodle fan and a snickerdoodle snob, and even he says their snickerdoodles are as good as any bakery he's ever eaten them at. So that's pretty cool. That'll be our Thursday. Just we'll have a video, and Friday we will be making. Oh, we're making a custard. We are making a custard cake. It's called a magic custard cake. You make this cake, and then it splits into like a cake layer on top, a custard layer in the middle, and like almost like a cookie base. It's so cool. Hopefully it turns out. We're going to give it a shot on Friday. And we'll have like a little dinner with that. But it could be a girl dinner because my husband is in a golf outing on Friday and my son might be going out to dinner. So he won't be necessarily eating with me. So we might have girl dinner and we'll figure out what's for girl dinner just by whatever happens to be in the house. So stick around for that one as well. And that rounds out the week. And I think this should be, yep, we got 40 seconds left. So woohoo! All right, I'm going to pull out some of these lovely little mats so that we can set our hot pan on that and not, I've already melted my table cover. And I actually ordered a new one and it's exactly the same. I thought it was similar. It's exactly the same. So sometime in the next couple of weeks, I will be dealing with that. There they are. I knew they were around here somewhere. My UGG gloves. All right. Hey, IT guy, I need my my meat thermometer, which you have so conveniently placed on the other side of the room. Okay, so there's our beautiful little hint. Ooh, get on there. You don't need to be melting anything. All right, our new instant read thermometer. Pretty much anything that we use on the stream, we've got in the description if you want to see it. So, go, baby, go. Go, baby, go. Ah, come on. That's my big one, so. All right, how about you? Oh yeah, the little one is very much done. Put you in here, see if you, we need 165 and the chicken breast there. Come on. All right, 165. So it's ready. We just don't want to cut it really yet. We want to give it a couple minutes to cool down. But we're going to go ahead and just call it a day because I can tell you from looking at them, our carrots are nice and they've still got a little give to them, but they are good and roasted. I'm going to stir those up in the sauce, get them all sauced up and ready for consumption. And then we've got some nice color on our potatoes, so that'll be nice. We've got our birds nice and cooked. They need to rest so that they're not going to be dry. And there you have it. There's our, for lack of a better term, we're going to call it porg on a plate or porg on a platter maybe, with roasted carrots and potatoes. We've got our instant bread and we've got our blue milk. So there you go. Happy Star Wars Day, everybody. May the 4th be with you, as they say. And we will see you tomorrow for the most American Taco Tuesday you could ever ask for. Taco Bell it is. See you guys tomorrow. Love you all. Bye-bye.